What is up? I'm sitting. This is where I'll probably film for a while. Jeez, okay. Anyways, I can never film a good intro ever. Today I just want to talk to you guys about anxiety. And I know I haven't uploaded for a few weeks. It's because we didn't get unlimited internet until now because we just moved, all that jazz. So, yeah. I'm going to be talking to you about what God says about anxiety. I've kind of wanted to do this video for a while and I just haven't, so I'm going to sit down and film it now. I have anxiety and I've had it since I was really young, probably 13, even before that, and I just didn't notice. I had anxiety and OCD badly. It was to the point where, and depression, so it was basically to the point where in order to function, I would have to count to a certain number to be able to feel like I was okay to go into the next thing I wanted to do. For those of you who don't know what OCD is, it's obsessive compulsive disorder. So it presents itself in different ways. It could be a fear of weather and like freaking out and literally compulsively thinking about it. It could be a fear about something else. It could be needing to count to a certain number or do things a certain number of times or waiting a certain number of seconds. So anything like that, needing everything to be super clean at all times, or you can't sleep and you can't do anything. That's what OCD is. And it's like it traps you and it grips you and it's crazy. And so I had OCD whenever I was younger, so if I ate gummy bears, I either had to eat 2 of them, 4 of them, 8 of them. I had to eat like in an even number. The amount of pumps of soap I put in my hands, just things like that. It was a struggle for me because I never really talked about it, but it was a struggle and it does trap you. You feel like you're trapped in your own brain. And then I also have anxiety, which a lot of people do have anxiety, and everybody gets anxious, but anxiety is also very scary. It's and it also presents itself in a lot of different ways, and I'm obviously not a medical expert. Just from what I've noticed, I have people around me who also have anxiety and depression, and my anxiety presents itself in a way of like I get anxious, and I don't know why. It's like my subconscious realizes I'm anxious, but I don't. And so there are people who have been around me who can identify it, why I'm anxious, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense, yes, that makes sense, and they've really helped me walk through stuff. And then there's other reasons I get anxious and I have no idea why. Like I'll just be in a bad mood and I'll be anxious, and there's some times where I can be like, this is what's making me anxious or stressed out. And so it presents itself in different ways, but mine usually ends up with me just getting angry or upset or withdrawn from people. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to do anything. I want to either focus on homework and do my own thing or read a book or lay in my bed. I don't want people to talk to me, and if somebody does talk to me, I tend to have an attitude with them even though I don't try to, and whenever I am grounded, I realize that. So anxiety is a struggle. My anxiety is induced because because of my childhood. I have anxiety around people leaving my life, ending things, and just a lot of things in general. It plays into a lot of things, and I have grown out of a lot of it too, so it's changed a lot, and so I'm in counseling, and my counselor is a Christian, and she is literally like from Jesus. Jesus was like, here you go. I actually had her in school as a counselor, like my sophomore year of high school and freshman year of high school, and then I didn't anymore. My senior year of high school, I didn't go to the high school. I did CCP, so I didn't have her, and I never paid for her, so she would just call me into like her room briefly because you only get a certain amount of time with them until you have to pay. And I knew where she worked at and everything, so whenever I looked for a counselor as an adult, I called, and because I'm an adult, but I'm not like 30, you know? So I called where she worked, and I was like, hey, I really want to set up an appointment, and I explained to them that I'd had her before, and so I set up an appointment with her, and I have been going to her since, and I think that was in like August, September-ish of 2019, so I took the step to go into counseling just because I was facing some just tough stuff with people leaving, and like previously, like months before that. So I was just facing some stuff, walking through some stuff, and I realized I didn't have any healthy coping mechanisms for when people left my life, because just of things that happened whenever I was a kid. So I went to counseling. My grandma was like, go to counseling, like, do it. And I was like, you know what, Grandma, you're right. And shout out to my grandma, because she's an angel. All of my grandmothers are angels. And I have so many grandmas. I have like so I have like 5, but it's fine. I love all of them. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what the Bible says about anxiety. And my counselor, oh my gosh, like, she's helped me so much with this. So Phillipians 4:8, and this verse, let me just tell you, it changes your life. Okay, I'm going to read it. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any moral excellence, and if there's anything praiseworthy, dwell on these things. Do what you've learned and received and heard from me and seen in me, and the God of peace will be with you. And I actually have a tattoo that says, see the good. You probably can't see it. It just looks like lines from over there. And that is what I wrote beside this in my Bible, is see the good. And Jesus literally, like, tells us to think about what he has for us, because every good thing comes from him. And I actually just had a conversation with a friend about anxiety and stuff this morning, and this verse, my counselor read this to me, and I was like, wow, that makes so much sense, because in this world, especially the way the world is today with like all the negativity and stuff, it's so easy to think about that. What do I have to do next? My life isn't together, even though I'm only 18 years old. Like, all these things that don't make sense in our like brains, like, other people will be like, chill out, like, you were literally at 18, you don't have to have your life together. And so yes, Jesus calls us to love people and to be kind, and I think in this world we lack tons of that. We lack a lot of kindness, and that leads to more anxiety about what people think of you, or is this person going to be nice or mean, and what, like, there's so much anxiety and so much fear. And Jesus calls us to just think about what he's given us. Think about the good things he's given us, about how you woke up this morning, or about like the clothes you wear, or like the cup of coffee you had this morning, or like little things that are so happy, or like the sun shining, just things that are positive. And every good thing that's happened in your life that has just like blown you away, when someone held the door for you, or someone told you they loved you, just things that are good and things that he's given us, and moments that are good. He calls us to think about those, because those are of him and they are so good. And the enemy tries so hard to pull us down, especially when we're Christians and we're walking with God. He'll throw things in our paths and be like, what's up? Here I am. Like, you can walk away now. And it's our job to remember, like, our God is good, and what the devil says is a lie. And anxiety, like, it just messes with you and it lies. And I just want, like, I don't know, I just want you guys to know, like, anxiety and fear, they're liars. They're liars, and they are, like, I don't know, they're so wrong, because you are enough and you are worth it, and you are a good thing. Like, God says, think about the good things. Like, think about you. You are a good thing. He created with his own 2 hands. You're so special. You are called for a purpose. You are here for a purpose, and your anxiety is a liar, and what it says about you is a liar. You can do that homework. You can get an A in that class. You can drive where you need to drive to. You are enough. You are loved. Like, all these things. I just want you guys to know that. So I am going to read, what is the 2 Timothy 1:7. It says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and sound judgment. So that is also a really powerful verse, because anything that is fearful to you was not given to you by Jesus. Like, he will put you in uncomfortable positions, because that's where you grow. So, like, whenever I first joined the worship team, I was like, oh, whoa, like singing in front of people, but it was natural to me because that's my purpose. That's what God has called me to do, and it was uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to audition for something, and it's uncomfortable to put yourself out there, to meet new people, but I promise you, like, at church, I will walk up to random people and be like, what's up, I'm Maddie, what's your name? And not because that is who I am, because I'm introverted and I love to be by myself, because, like, loving people who love Jesus is so much fun, making those friendships is so much fun, and that outweighs all of the uncomfort and all of the fear. And so I just challenge you guys to put yourselves out there, and anything that is scary, like anything the devil is like, don't do this, it's scary, like don't do it, it's scary. Speaking in front of someone, walking up to someone and being like, how are you? Holding the door for someone you don't know, all of these things, nothing, like the worst someone can do is tell you no. The worst someone can do is be like, oh, thank you, but I'm good, like, I can get the door myself, you know? Like, the worst someone can do is say no, and I think that's so important to remember, is that rejection happens, and it teaches you so much, and 95% of the time, people don't make choices based on who we are, they make choices based on what they're walking through, and that's so important to remember. So even if it's scary to walk up to someone, or hold the door for someone, or audition for something, you will grow so much from being uncomfortable, and fear, nothing fearful comes from God. The fear you feel has nothing to do with who Jesus is, because he's so good, and he has not given us that spirit. He has not given us fear. He's given us strength and confidence and love to be like, yeah, you can do it. It might be uncomfortable, but you can do it. You got this. So just remember that as well. And yeah, so that is just what I wanted to say. I'm sure I have some more verses, but like I have all of these markers in here, and those two are the main two, especially Philippians 4:8. That's definitely something I go to a lot whenever I'm anxious, and so even though I have some more, I'm actually going to read you guys this one. This has been my favorite one lately, and I didn't even know it was a thing. This page will turn. Ooh. Let's turn here. It is John 16:12, I believe. Yes. And I read this and it's stuck in my brain, and I have just like spewed it everywhere. I'm like, this verse, dude, it's so good. And Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says, I so many things to tell you, but you can't bear them now. And this one just gives me so much hope in God's plan for us, that even in this anxiety, if you have anxiety and the fear and the hurt and whatever you're walking through, he is so much more for us, and he's good even when things are tough, and even when things are hard, and even when things don't make sense on earth. And this year has been a whirlwind for everybody in my community and my church, and just a bunch of people in general. Like 2020 started out pretty rough, and so knowing that Jesus literally says, I still have many things to tell you, but you cannot bear them right now, means like we just have to walk through some stuff. We have to learn some stuff. That person you're searching for to marry, you have to walk through and build yourself before you guys are ready for that, you know? And that whatever you're looking for, that job you want, you have to go through this season to get there. And whatever you're called to do, God's going to walk you through some stuff, and some of it might not even be for your benefit. It might be for somebody else's, and you're going to learn through it, and you're going to grow through it. And he has so much for you, but you have to walk through these seasons to get there. So that is all. Anyways, my dad called me, sorry. But yeah, I just felt the need to share that. I know there's a lot of people who struggle with this stuff, and a lot of people in my community who are walking through really hard things right now and don't understand like what God says about them, and what God says about anxiety and stuff, and it doesn't make your faith any less strong to have anxiety. It makes you a strong person to be able to walk through it. So those verses are what Jesus says about anxiety, and I will put them down below if anybody didn't get what I said. So yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome Monday, and I'm sorry for not uploading again. We got unlimited Wi-Fi today, so I'm good to go. And I'm gonna clean some stuff, and I'm gonna go to work, and I will see you guys in the next video. I love you guys, and feel free to reach out to me. I'll leave my Instagram and stuff down below if you have any questions or ever need to talk. So yeah, love you guys. Bye.